Court denies bail to detained executive in charge of financial compliance for Binance Holdings. Practice. Experts call for improved remuneration and welfare to maintain standards. Stakeholders and international partners advocate more juvenile justice reform. Hello and welcome to the News Desk at 3 on Nta News24. We are live in Abuja. I am Nta Daniels. The federal government has introduced a new direct purchase model for premium motor spirit, PMS, allowing petroleum product marketers to buy directly from local refineries. Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, who confirmed this in a statement on Friday, says the move marks a significant shift from the previous arrangement where the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPCL, was the sole purchaser and distributor of PMS. This direct purchasing mechanism allows marketers to negotiate commercial terms directly with the refineries, fostering a more competitive market environment and enabling a smoother supply chain for petroleum products. Edun said with the commencement of local PMS production, the market is better equipped to support these direct transactions and is expected to enhance efficiency in product availability and stabilize market conditions for the benefit of all Nigerians. He said the Implementation Committee on the Sales of Crude Oil and Refined Products in Naira, which he chairs, acknowledges concerns and discussions surrounding the market structure change and is committed to providing clarity and engaging with stakeholders to ensure a seamless transition process. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has denied bail to the detained executive in charge of financial compliance for Binance Holdings, Tigran Gambaran, who is the second defendant applicant in the alleged tax evasion and money laundering counts charge filed against the cryptocurrency company Binance. He had earlier been denied bail, which he requested on health grounds, and Justice Emeka Nwite observed that no fresh medical facts have emerged to warrant a new application for bail. Factional wars are on the verge of collapsing the main opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, less than 24 hours after the Senator Adolphus Nwabara-led Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party met in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf reports that suspension and counter-suspension has been the order of the day in the leadership of the party. His report.
First, the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party, arising from its 593rd meeting on Thursday, October 10, 2024, has directed the National Publicity Secretary Debo Olugunagba and National Legal Advisor Kamaldeen Adeyemi Ajibade SAN to step aside respectively. Chinwe Unorom, the National Director of Publicity of the PDP, on behalf of the National Working Committee, in a statement said, as a result, the NWC has constituted a committee to be chaired by the Deputy National Chairman South, Ambassador Tofik Arakpaja, to investigate the issues raised against the officers in compliance with the provisions of the constitution of the party. Following the NWC's decision, he directed their respective deputies to assume office in acting capacity with effect from Friday, October 11, 2024, pending the conclusion of investigation by the committee. The officers are Ibrahim Abdullahi Manga, Acting National Publicity Secretary, and Okechukwu Osoha, Acting National Legal Advisor. And in another twist, a parallel National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party has extensively considered the series of complaints raised against the acting National Chairman, Ambassador Ilia Damagum, and National Secretary, Senator Samuel Anyanwu, particularly with regard to the letter addressed by them to the Court of Appeal against the party's position in the case involving the 27 former members of the Rivers State House of Assembly who vacated their seats upon defecting from the PDP to the All Progressives Congress (APC). National Publicity Secretary of the party, Debo Ologunagba, in a statement issued in Abuja said the NWC condemned what he described as anti-party activity of the acting national chairman and the national secretary, which is in gross violation of the provisions of the PDP constitution as amended in 2017 and their oath of office. Therefore, the NWC has suspended Ambassador Ilia Damagum and Senator Samuel Anyanwu as acting national chairman and national secretary of the party, respectively, and referred them to the National Disciplinary Committee for further action. In the meantime, the two officials are suspended from all meetings, activities, and programs of the NWC pending the conclusion of investigation by the National Disciplinary Committee. Timothy Yusuf, Nta News.
Elective collective bargaining remains the bridging point for improved productivity. Major actors in the labor sector affirmed this stand at the presentation of a book, The Tripartite, Understanding the Interplay Between Workers, Employers and Government. Joseph Otsen reports.
Witnessing this.
The Tripartite, Understanding the Interplay Between Workers, Employers and Government, is a book written by a labor correspondent, Sharon Adjesan. The book dwells much on labor struggles in fighting for improved working conditions of workers in Nigeria, predating colonial times.
Majority of the jobs we have today in Nigeria are informal jobs. They are not categorized under the private sector, public sector. They are informal. You have more people as even Okada riders. So I pray that this book opens our eyes to go into further research.
This publication, if we use tripartism, that is labor, government, and the employers to come to the table to try to address some of these issues, I'm sure we'll find solution because facts will always prevail.
So reform is too important to be left to one party. Reform is too important to be left to government alone. You know, it should be inclusive of employers in the world of work, inclusive of labor, you know, because labor creates wealth, is the most important factor of production.
For Sharon, the motivation to pen down the work after years of reporting on the labor decks is to bring to bear how negotiations between the major actors of production evolves and ensure that nothing is left out for the future generation.
Right now, as we speak, we have a lot of cinematographers, we have people that are skit makers. So this is just to say that informal work is here, it has come to stay, especially after the advent of COVID-19 pandemic. But it's obvious that relevant stakeholders are yet to accept this.
This is our first in the industry, leaving behind intellectual works that will guide understanding of the labor movement in the present and future. In Abuja, Joseph Otsen, Nta News.
Every girl should be able to dream of a future where she can grow without limits. Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, stated this in a message to celebrate this year's International Day of the Girl Child. She notes that the theme of the celebration, Girls' Vision for the Future, is very apt and calls for more investment in education starting from the home, where girls will be taught to believe in themselves and the values of self-worth and dignity, thereby equipping them with the confidence to face the future. The First Lady says with the right support, resources and opportunities, the potential of the world's more than 1.1 billion girls will know no bounds. This way, the girl child will be able to make informed choices about her health and well-being, she adds. While noting that as a nation, Nigeria has come a long way in ensuring the education of the girl child, the First Lady, however, laments that too many girls are still denied their rights, restricting their choices and limiting their future. She saluted the girl child in Nigeria, charging them to be strong, confident and determined in their resolve to push for the limitless opportunities that abound. The future is promising, she says, while asking them to keep hope alive and nurture their dreams. With many minors held in correctional facilities nationwide, there is increasing advocacy for juvenile justice reform. Against this backdrop, the Ministry of Interior, in collaboration with key stakeholders and international partners like UNICEF, have unveiled a comprehensive assessment of children and young adults deprived of liberty in Nigeria, underscoring the urgent need for transformative action. Vivian Ezadiefe reports.
It is believed that a child-sensitive justice system that emphasizes prevention and rehabilitation is crucial to reducing juvenile incarceration. Stakeholders are advocating for alternative solutions that prioritize the well-being of young people over imprisonment.
Aware by Legal Aid Act 2011 to provide free and qualitative legal services to indigent Nigerians.
Young adults in conflict with the law. This event is important and also strategic as it aims at improving the juvenile justice system as well as criminal justice as a whole.
The figure in this report represents a child whose life is at risk of being defined by punishment instead of opportunity and support for reintegration.
The Minister of Interior recently unveiled an assessment of the situation of children and young adults deprived of liberty in Nigeria, highlighting the conditions in correctional facilities. This has led to a renewed commitment to reforming the correctional system, in line with the advocacy effort of UNICEF and other stakeholders.
I assure you, as Minister of Interior, if I come here and tell you I'm comfortable with what's happening in the correctional service, I'll be the greatest liar. Take this to the bank. We will reform the Nigerian correctional service.
We need the institutions. We also need the openness from the communities, from their neighborhood, who would welcome back these children and treat them as their own so that they are not seen as somebody who's very different and they are not ostracized.
One of the most vulnerable groups in society. Yet, as we can see on the statistics projected, they still face a lot of challenges in the criminal justice system.
One of the key recommendations is the introduction of diversion programs, alternatives to formal judicial proceedings. By focusing on counseling, vocational training, and community-based programs, Nigeria aims to build a justice system that not only holds children accountable, but also provides them with opportunities for a brighter and more hopeful future. Vivian Ezadife, Nta.
Getting the requisite funding for education in line with global benchmark, guests on Good Morning Nigeria say will help restore the prestigious position of teaching and teachers. Lydia Samson reports on more of the guests' suggestions on tackling porous regulations towards a more robust teaching profession.
Minister of Education Professor Tahir Maman says to this effect, policies that require legislation will be put forward to reposition education on the teaching profession.
And so there's a lot to do. And we in the Federal Ministry of Education, as you know, the job of the ministry, the federal minister at that level is to provide those policies and coordination and ensure that those standards are met.
The guests decried a situation where laudable programs and policies are poorly implemented for lack of funds. They are emphatic that federal government's efforts in repositioning teaching profession and education must be replicated by states.
Every country What is the budget for education? There's nothing to talk about. Less than 10% of the budget for in the country is allocated to education. Education is an expensive undertaking, not only in terms of monetary resources, but commitment. If you're in education, you must give all your time.
A situation where you find 1, 2, 3 teachers in the whole school, the optimal performance will not be there because of the crowded classrooms. We have an education policy that says that for primary, secondary, junior secondary, 1 to about 35 pupils or students. For senior secondary, 1 teacher to 40. But you see crowded children in one school to be controlled by 1 teacher. What we are saying is that you see those that are doing well or some students performing well is the situation that they find themselves.
They also want constant and regular training for teachers to keep up with evolving demands, especially technology and artificial intelligence. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, Nta News.
Time for a break. More reports shortly. Welcome back. The Tertiary Education Trust Fund is determined to transform technology ecosystem in Nigeria through translation of research to practical value addition. To this effect, the 2024 Tech Fund Research Fair and Exhibition, a 4-day event, will commence in Abuja next month. The fair and exhibition, an annual event which started 10 years ago, is to provide a nexus that will transform research to impactful practical products.
Apply for research funding, 50 million, 100 million, 200 million. But let us see the research plan. It must be, even if it is slicing okra, to dry quickly so that you can package it when it is green, so that it is easy to pound and it can draw even it's dry. That is Nigeria. Don't go and study on the speed at which clouds move and then expect to get funds from us. We will not give you. Don't write a proposal to see how high grasshoppers will hop in vegetations of rainforest. We will not get money. So do practical things that can actually ginger Nigeria to actually go to the highest level. So the research fund Tech Fund has started as an institution. They started this over 10 years ago. But because it's small, you find that the level of the funding, the number of people who are benefiting is very narrow. But you look at our universities, you will see the brain, they are boiling. You know, just now, as our committee, we've been screening the concept notes to go to the proposals of this year's research funding.
This is projected to fast-track making Nigeria a technology hub. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tourid Abiodun Lagbaja, has inaugurated a newly renovated, remodeled and equipped ultra-modern 10-classroom story building at Community Secondary School Mbo Isuzo, local government area of Enugu State. Lieutenant General Lagbaja at the inauguration advised the community to guard the project jealously. Matthew Amoke's report is here presented.
The school building project is a special intervention project in furtherance of the Army's civil-military cooperation and kinetic approach to the security of the country. Chief of Army Staff represented, as well as the Chief of Civil-Military Affairs, called for the continued support of the Nigerian Army in her quest to secure the nation.
On our part, I want to assure the nation that the Nigerian Army will continue to carry out kinetic and non-kinetic operations to address the security challenges facing the country.
The Chief of Army Staff Special Intervention Civil Military Cooperation Progress Scheme is an initiative that seeks to strengthen civil-military relations, promote collaboration and community development.
The project executor, Major General J.O. Gwoke, and the Enugu State Governor represented, extolled the Nigerian Army for their efforts at keeping the nation secured, while calling on members of Mbu community to protect the facilities provided for them.
For every of our people who will go to school here, make sure that you don't betray the purpose for which this edifice was built. That is to say, be studious. Let us find you worthy in character and learning.
The highly elected members of the community thanked the Nigerian Army for the honor done to them and promised to put the edifice into good use.
We are really very, very grateful to the Nigerian Army for what such a wonderful project sited in my own community.
What they did for us, we stand as a beacon of hope for future generations. May God bless them.
In Enugu, Susan Eze, Nta News. With the official launch of the acronym ECODIN, which stands for Enhancing Coordination Systems for Disaster Response in Nigeria, interventions on disaster management and mitigation programs in Nigeria, especially in the Northwest region, will be more effective. This assurance is part of agreements by stakeholders championing implementation of the project. Kenneth Nanim reports.
Disaster management and mitigation of impacts sometimes come with huge responsibilities on the shoulders of government. Now, with ECODIN, a 2-year project fully funded by the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, being implemented by partners led by Christian Aid Nigeria in the states of Sokoto, Katsina.
To build capacity, legislature is there to stand and support all the formulations, all the laws that will support the program.
To ensure effective delivery of the project, Christian Aid Nigerian partners have also come up with a homegrown strategy that supports more proactive initiatives that will bridge the gaps in communication, funding, coordination responses, amongst other issues. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
And despite the economic downturn, which seems to have affected eventually all sectors, journalism profession inclusive, experts in the media industry are of the opinion that with improved remuneration and welfare, the profession will continue to maintain standards. This dominated discussions during the grand finale of the 2024 Press Week, organized by the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Ebonyi State Council. Fortunate also reports.
Nations of the world, even those considered economically stable, sometime in history faced economic downturn. The situation in most of these countries led to some decisions and behavioral change that brought about transformation. It is in the light of this that the NUJ Ebonyi State Council, in its 2024 Press Week, focused on how journalism can thrive in spite of the economic uncertainties. Speaker after speaker harped on the sensitivity and turbulent nature of journalism practice in Nigeria, stressing that a better welfare package for practitioners will effect the needed change.
Where we have gotten it wrong, let us come back and do the needful, so that our profession will be protected, so that when somebody sees a true journalist will distinguish yourself from the one.
It is the press that will tell the government that the message was tested. So the press is indeed the mirror of the society.
The keynote speaker, Dr. Chike Onwe, and other participants extolled the role of the media and called on the practitioners to uphold objective reportage and flush out quacks, which seems to have become the bane of the practice in Nigeria.
The power and the same fuels. Their children are not the same food. They consume the same energy and go to the same hospital.
Challenge the devouring media industry in Nigeria requires an urgent attention, and it is an attention that we, the practitioners, cannot handle.
Honestly, the journalists, they are highly sustained. There's no two ways about it. They are like teachers. They work and do the most work, but they don't get much.
And I also advise them please
let it not just be war, war, war. It is better jaw, jaw, jaw.
The wife of Ebonyi State Governor, Mrs. Uzoamaka Nwifuru, and other selected individuals were honored for distinguishing themselves in different spheres of human endeavor. In Abakaliki, Fortunate Ozo, NTA News.
And owing to a variety of factors, many people lack resources or motivation to dispose waste responsibly. To address these challenges, the French Embassy in Abuja has launched a plastic waste management project aimed at promoting sustainable practices in 5 Nigerian universities. Suleiman Abdul Wahab reports.
Participants from 13 universities in Nigeria are collaborating with French researchers to explore effective management of plastic waste on Nigerian campuses. From these 13 institutions, 5 universities were selected and recognized by an independent selection committee for their commendable contribution with their French counterparts. To celebrate these achievements, the French Embassy is hosting a prize reception.
Converting plastic waste to pure.
Oh, the competition has been very tough. We had a lot of good projects. So really those 5 won had been selected by their excellency. So they are all very good projects. First as research projects. So they are scientific projects. They are not just, a philosophical project.
For me, this is a moment of joy, as a regulator of university education on behalf of the 274 universities. It's a major recognition, it's a game-changing opportunity to have the French government, support research activities around the specifics of plastic waste.
Addressing these challenges requires multifaceted approach. Initiatives such as awareness campaign, waste segregation programs, encouraging the use of biodegradable materials, and implementing stringent policies on plastic use can foster a more sustainable campus environment. Selected universities such as University of Calabar, Obafemi Awolowo University of Ile-Ife, University of Delta Agbo, Alex Ikweme University, and Yaba College of Technology have already contributed and are working with researchers.
Plastic waste is a challenge not only in our universities, it's a challenge all over the world, and most especially in our country, Nigeria.
A French embassy has sponsored a lab for Yabatech before. So when we were opportune, we are privileged to be one of the institutions that have been asked to contest for this award.
We are the only polytechnic here representing the tertiary institution in Nigeria, and that's a sign of the contribution of Yabatech as the foremost institution in Nigeria, an institution that I call an institution of national heritage.
By prioritizing waste management and sustainability efforts, campuses can create a healthier and more conducive learning environment for all students. In Abuja, Suleiman Abdul Wahab, Nta News.
That concludes the news desk at 3 on Nta News24. Thank you for watching. I am Nta Daniels.